Now, this is the Fox 11 News at noon.
Okay, many Americans are struggling these days, coping with mental health challenges.
Yeah, for people with long-term problems, there are new treatments that could make a difference. One is TMS, or Transcranial Magnetic Stimulation. A doctor and a patient who says it has been a success joins us next.
Welcome back. The pandemic has led to a mental health crisis, especially among children. According to a report from the U.S. Census Bureau, the number of kids reported to have anxiety and depression increased between 2016 and 2020 by 26% nationally.
But new treatments are offering new hope when nothing else seems to work. More and more people are turning to TMS, or Transcranial Magnetic Stimulation. And here to tell us more on this Suicide Prevention Month is psychiatrist Dr. Meryl Sparago and Daniele, a patient who says it has been successful for her. Thank you both for joining us. Dr. Sparago, let's start with you. Tell us about TMS, Transcranial Magnetic Stimulation, for anyone who's never heard of this before.
Sure. Thank you so much. I mean, first of all, transcranial magnetic stimulation is it's an extraordinary treatment for depression. One of the most important things to know about depression is it's a disorder of brain, and it occurs when someone's mood changes, their thinking changes, their thoughts change, but essentially their brain changes as well. And that is the kind of scan that is up there. And what people can clearly see is that this is a brain disorder. And when we think about brain disorders, the problem with brain disorders, it is so hard for people to use their mind. And the brain works by a rhythm generator right in the front of the brain, like the heart. And what transcranial magnetic stimulation does is it stimulates the kind of operating system in the front part of the brain to turn it back on. And so the lights off picture that you saw in depression becomes a back and a lights on picture. Lights off, people can't think, they can't sleep, they can get suicidal thoughts, they don't want to eat. And a lot of times, standard treatments don't work for a lot of people. And someone long ago, way smarter than all of us, realized the brain was a series of circuits, and that when we get the brain back in rhythm, we can use our mind. And the way I look at TMS is a rhythm generator for the brain. Right. And when we treat the brain, we free the mind, and then people can get back to their lives. And as you said, the mental health crisis has affected everyone, children, adults, and this is just a wonderful opportunity for people.
And patient Diana, let's bring you into this conversation because you were suffering from depression. You turned to this. Was this a last resort? How did TMS change your depression?
Well, I found out about TMS. I had been depressed, had depression and anxiety for almost 4 years. And a friend of mine said, you have to go see Dr. Sparago because he has some non-drug, a special thing he can do. She didn't even know the name. And I went in and I gave him, all the drugs I'd taken, trying with the antidepressants and the antipsychotics. And he goes, I think you're a candidate. And I was, and I did it. And I am 110%. And that was 4 years ago.
I don't think we've mentioned that this essentially, Dr. Sparago, uses magnets, right? And it is approved by the FDA for those who don't know this, but you're also there's a big advocacy out there to try to make this available for children. Is that right?
Yes. I mean, there's been a lot of studies in children, and yes, it uses magnets to stimulate the brain. The magnets have an electrical field, which turns neurons on, essentially. There are lots of studies in children and adolescents, especially because they don't really respond that well to general antidepressants. A lot of child psychiatrists I know struggle with treating children. And yes, this is an option. I mean, it's in study, but there's lots of literature and research out there and opportunities and hope for people to feel better.
Well, and Diana, was this a one and done treatment? How does that work?
Well, no. First of all, the treatment was 6 weeks, like a half an hour every day for 5 days for 6 weeks. So it was a commitment. I was impossibly suicidal when I did it, and I didn't want to give up on myself, and I didn't want to, my friend got me in, and I said, I will try this. I will try anything to get out of this. And it wasn't like the 6 weeks were over and then I was like, yippee. You know, it was like a gradual, like a dimmer light instead of a switch. But when I came back big.
Wow.
And I want everybody else to know about it.
And you've become an advocate for this, so we're so glad that you are feeling better. We know that you're coming out with a book, a memoir, very soon. And also we want people to know, for more information on TMS, perhaps this could be something you or a loved one could use. You can go to the TMScenterla.com to talk to Dr. Sparago and his team. Thank you both.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We'll be right back.